Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming. Without us, they couldn't feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. Again, I know this has been a rough time for everybody. And all I can say to everyone who listens to this, regardless of whatever country you reside in, is just stay healthy, stay safe, and this too shall end. With that said, this is Pandemic Patio 2020. Can a dragon breathe fire while masked? Again, this is a one-day tournament. It was my gaming group. It wasn't even all of our gaming group. We actually only had 8 people because we want to keep it small. We're looking to maybe do 10 people. Um, for those, I may actually set something else up here with but that's for future. But basically, huge huge shout out to one of our group members, Chris. He turned around, he set up his backyard with table set up, and there was Pretty Boy, who's Ryan. There was Al got back into this. I mean, Brett, who is actually going to be my opponent. Ben. I mean, it was just a great group. Brian. So thank you so much for making this happen. And all I can say is to be able to throw down real dice and everything else, it was great. So last game was a 10-10. So I'm literally middle of the pack. And now, so I'm playing up right now. Brett just defeated Ben, had a big win. I think he got 17 points. And so now I'm playing Warriors of the Dark Gods versus my Saurian Ancients. And this is going to be Dawn Assault, Spoils of War. And this is his list. So again, he's got the Master Evoke, not great for my great big critter because you can keep doing plucking wounds on it. He loves greed, so he's got 2 decent sized warrior bricks. He's got Zealot banner all over the place. He's got the Wrath with great weapons, and he has chaff. And again, he's got the three monsters, 2 of which I have to be concerned with. The Helmaw. This the Helmaw is one of those models that is really, really good. The issue is you need to know how to use it, and this is one of his first games. Unlike some of our group, he's not really heavy with using universal battles, so he's not as sharp as some of us who have been playing. And if you don't practice and play with that piece, it's really hard to use. And to be honest, I mean, I've seen Jeremy Gottschalk use the Helm wonderfully, but it's a finesse army, and I always picture Warriors of the Dark Gods just being like Hulk smash, but it's that is truly a finesse piece. Um, Here's my historian of Ancients list. Feel free to pause it, and it's a fun list. I love the warriors, the Saurian warriors that are speed 6. This is a very, very fast lizard army. Not sure how good it is. I mean, but you'll see. So I ended up dropping for first turn. So it's definitely a change from having uh, Knights of Equitaine from Kingdom of Equitaine. Definitely changed from playing my Kingdom. So we started doing one drop, one drop, one drop, one drop, and I put Dawn Assault. I don't think we. I think it was just. You know what? This was marching columns. Oops. Um, and then I just ended up just dropping, and we're playing Spoils of War. So I moved my chaff up. I'm like, all right, I've got to. His chaff can definitely cause me grief because I have my combat bricks and my monsters. I want to get into combat, but I have to be concerned with his great weapons, and he's got just enough attacks at AP1 that's going to cause grief for my monsters. So, you know, you got to go from there. So going from left to right, He put his one elder all the way in the back to prevent me from getting behind his fast cavalry. Personally, in retrospect, I probably just would have moved my, because they had a 6-inch vanguard. I just would have pulled him back 6 inches and let his chaff deal with my chaff. But that was his call. He's got his fast cavalry. He's got his other elder. He's got brick warriors, fast cav, the knights, and then another brick warriors. And that's his sorcerer on the chariot there, and that big blue thing. That's his helmet. I don't know what model he got, but I love the fact because it looks like Stargate Portal right there. Going from my left to right, again, pterodons. I had my pterosaur, my alpha, the black block, and I swear there's black, there's brown, there's blue, there's purple. It just looks black. So that unit's definitely going in for a makeover. Is my temple guard, followed by my 20 warriors, followed by my Stygiosaur. So I turn around, I drop rocks, and then I am actually able to shoot off his chaff. He blocks my magic from doing it, so then the pterodons just turned around and took care of it. And on the other side, between rocks and shooting, I killed 2 other of his chaff, but they did make their panic tests. And this is how the board looks. I pushed up, and a couple of errors that I see. It's not so much the pushing up. I mean, we're playing spoils. I want to get that spoils of war there in the middle. Let's see. What was one of my big mistakes was putting my Stygiosaur in front of my warriors. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking at that point in time. It was just a bad play on my part. So now it's his turn 1. He does charge the flank, which I expected to happen. And I fled with my pterodons. I rolled a 3. So I'm like, oops. With that said, that's where he's able to turn around. That's where he gets in and, touches me. I die. He makes the leadership test and he reforms. He's able to get Whispers of the Veil up on my alpha. And I let that go. I didn't try to stop it because I'm like, all right, if I let this go, so now I'm only res 5. He's still only strength 4. I still have 4 up armored as if I go into combat. We'll see what happens. So now it's my turn 2. Here's how the board looks. I go charging in to his warriors. Now here's the way this played out. So if you look in the middle of the board, he chaffed up my brick warriors with his. He has it facing the wrong way, so I would fit. But that's supposed to be his Chimera. And I'm like, all right, well, it's res 5. I'll go in there with warriors. I chaff up his elder, and I'm banking on leadership 5. Granted, it's cold-blooded, but it's still only leadership 5. It's not great odds. I did do a charge in here. It was another one of my mistakes. I charged into his fast cav with my pterosaur, and he failed his terror test. So they go running, and they barely go anywhere. Rather than redirecting into his warriors, okay, which would have probably put my alpha into his elder behind, I chose not to redirect and to simply turn and face the music from the elder. And that was definitely another error on my part, and that's the way that looks on that side for what I just described. So let me just go back a quick pick. The Stygiosaur had the flank, and all I needed was an 8 on Swift Stride, or 7 on Swift Stride, and I failed. I rolled like a 3. So my Temple Guard go charging in, my Stygio failed, and my warriors went charging in, but they got blocked because the Styg failed. It happens, and as someone who plays Equitane, I should have known better. You never bank on that 8 on dice because it's a 50-50. It's just not going to happen. So here's how the board looks. The middle's turned into one huge cluster. I feel fairly confident with what's going on the left. I end up completely killing his Chimera. He challenges me out. My alpha goes ahead and eats his champion, and that was it. So from here, he said he couldn't fit the gap between my Temple Guard and his warriors, and I won combat. I think I maybe took 1 wound, and he sticks. And the reason why we're kind of in this strange situation is all because of that Stygiasaur. So this is now where the pain's going to hurt. So again, during my magic phase, I did manage to get up scrying, got up a couple guiding lights. I think I had Stars Align up too, which is another reason why he's like, that's it, I'm challenging. There's no way I'm going to be able to take on that alpha. And again, I managed to kill the Manicore. He sticks, he makes his steadfast check, and that's that. So now it's his turn too. Here comes the pain. He goes charging into the flank with his knights. He goes into the front of the Temple Guard with the knights, and the flank with the chariot. And he's positioning himself very well, and this is all because of that Stygiasaur. My one saving grace, I don't think he's got enough attacks. I think I had Bubble Scrying up, and I don't think he's got enough attacks to take out my Temple Guard. So he does manage to put up... I stopped Whispers of the Veil, but he got up Whispers of the Veil up on my unit, and unfortunately, I didn't take a picture for the rest of the turn. What ends up happening is my alpha eats the rest of his warriors. I am down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm down to 5 Temple Guard and my Slann. Okay, they make their Stubborn 7 check, and it's my turn 3. Here's how the board looks. This is after charges. So as I said, I literally just ate his warriors, and I charged the warriors with the first with the alpha, and then not with the alpha, just with the Taurosaur, and they had to flee because they were fleeing, and I caught them, and I touched them, passed my reform check, and that's why I'm facing and as close as I am to that Elder. The alpha goes charging into his wizard, and I'm thinking Munchies and Crunchies. And for those of you who don't get that reference, it's from the movie The Black Cauldron. It's also a book. And yeah, that's how it looks. Now, you may be wondering why my Source Warriors are where they are. I had them flee as a charge reaction from that Elder previously, and no, they. I think I failed a panic test from them. They fled. They just rallied, but those are going to be the cowardly lions of the game. A little foreshadow there. So during close combat, and the warriors in the flank are not in combat. Again, I was chapped. I couldn't get that unit into combat because of that darn Stygiasaur. So I move things around. I get up Bubble Stars Align, Bubble Scrying. I have Guiding Light wherever I need it to be, and that's it. This is his turn 3. He obviously, my alpha eats his general, and I overrun into his knights. He charges the flank with his Elder. So here's how this plays out. When you have a model that is engaged in combat, it cannot slide. So his knights went from being in combat to being out of combat, but it was the second round of combat, so they could not overrun because there was nothing to pursue. My alpha went charging in, challenged out, ate his general, and then overran in, so I count as charging. During his turn, he then goes ahead and charges into the flank. Now, unfortunately, he had poor placement because he could not pursue into the quaddle. He did charge the Saurus warriors. As I said, they were the Cowardly Warriors, and they are now where you see them, and this is after DTs. So this has turned into one huge cluster, and again, I am stuck. So, with that said, my warrior, my warlord, goes at the same time as the knight, kills 3 knights. So I was pretty happy about that. He failed his 5 ups, and then they turn around. They swung back again. They killed my alpha. So the elder never got a chance to swing. He overruns with his let's see, with his elder. As you can clearly see, it's missing my my quaddle, and his knights, because they didn't charge, they don't get to move. And the one issue with warriors is they're fearless. They can never choose to flee unless they have the Mark of Lust. So now it's my turn 4. I go charging in with the Stygiosaur. I go charging in with the Towersaur. And this, why else do you play Saurian Ancients? It's dinosaurs to the rescue. So, again, this was definitely an error on my part, and I'll show you in the next picture because it's after combat. I get up bubble spells again. My magic was just brutal this game, and I eat his knights. I overrun into the combat with the warriors. I eat his warriors. The quaddle lives to see another day. And rather than run away with that unit of warriors, I turn to face. I don't know why. That was a bad call on my part. So, it's now turn 5. He's already been in combat. I'm sorry for the lack of pictures there. And I put 3 wounds, but he did wounds to me. I believe I made my test, and that's kind of it. I managed to put 1 wound onto that guy, and that's it. So during through turn 6 and everything else, he manages to go ahead. So yeah, this is now a bomb of 5. So I'll tell you what, there's the bomb of 5. All right. So he's got 4 wounds on his 1 elder after he just ate all my warriors. He's got 1 wound from match on his elder up at the top, and he had to turn to face. This is after the combats and everything else. My quaddle is sitting there hiding, and that's it. So I go ahead and I chaff him up with my Stygiosaur at the top, so he can't get into my quaddle, and he chooses to run away because he's got 4 wounds on one, he's got 5 wounds on the other. The reason why he's got 5 wounds is I have Mystic Traveler on my Stygiosaur, so I'm casting all my magic missiles through that. And he's like, you know what, just to try to conserve points, because I'm not sure that he's like, I'm not sure my elders want to go in there and do those 4 remaining wounds to your Stygiosaur, and you're not going to do that 1 wound to me and kill my elder, so I'm just going to conserve points. So this is exactly how the board looks and ends. Now the Cowardly Warriors did manage to pick up the token, and therefore I won the objective. Points-wise, I still have a good chunk of points because of the monsters and my quaddle. And it ends up being a 17-3. It was a 14-6, turns into a 17-3. And great game, was a lot of fun. As I point out, is I made a lot of mistakes this game, and I won it by the skin of my teeth. And Brett, great game. So please feel free to post questions, comments, and until next time, happy gaming.